thing I think confuses a lot of people. Your needs is going to change throughout life.
Absolutely.
And so when you 20, what you need as a 20-year-old is not going to be the same that you need as a 30. It's some things as a 20-year-old that you think you cannot live without.
Yeah.
When you 40,
yeah, we can live.
Yeah, but when it's 40, you got to less dependent on them things. So my need for my spouse is going to be different.
Just like people grow in love, they grow out of it also. So that's a real thing.
I hop out the wheel like a fence. 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 I'm on the moon like a Jackson. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I strip the door like a latch. Boy, I'm a fiend out of heaven. I just wanna give me a match. You live at the top of the planet.
Welcome back to Classic Conversation. I want to give a shout out to Pitts Media for allowing us to come shoot in the studio. If you're ever looking for anybody to film, make sure you hit up Pitts Media, Chelsea, Alabama. Also, if you're looking for a fitness app to work out on, Wait No More is the app that you want to get. Got all kind of trainers, all kind of information about health, about meal plans, everything on there. So, Toy Johnson, Robert Russian, got Wait No More app. Make sure y'all hop on there. My wife on there, work out with Hope. So y'all just check it out. And we're finna get into it. We got the lovely Brittany here today. We're gonna talk about relationships, what men looking for, what women looking for. So you tell us, what are women looking for in 2022?
So tell us about yourself. Married, single. What's your life like right now?
I've been married. I am now in a relationship, but I'm not married.
How long are you married for?
A year.
A year?
I wouldn't even count that as marriage. I was married, but my husband
It was a
wasn't.
quick mistake.
I was in the military, so people in the military know it's a military marriage.
She's speaking for there's a lot of divorce rate out in the military.
Oh yeah. People do it for the experience.
So what you learn from your marriage? What happened?
I mean, I was young. I was 19, 20. So, I mean, I know for me as a woman, like, I did everything I did as I was supposed to do as a wife. So, I was there, I went to work, I came home, that was it.
Okay, you did everything you're supposed to do as a wife. We need to know then, what is a wife supposed to do? What should we be looking for in a wife? Because you did everything that's right.
I can't tell y'all what y'all want to hear advice. I feel like that's what you need to know.
You give us your advice on what
should a woman do then?
Yeah. What is the ideal wife? What is right?
Back then
what
and
is
me
right?
now, two different people. Like back then, I felt like I needed to do everything for my husband, like cooking, cleaning, making sure I didn't have kids at the time, so his kids were good to go, his family was good to go. I did everything for him. Like I didn't care about me as a person. Like I didn't matter. I was like, as long as he's happy, I'm being a good person, I'm being a good wife. But me now, 2022, if I were married, like I matter too. Like I definitely have boundaries now. There are some things I will not deal with, and I feel like women today need boundaries. Like the men, no offense to any of y'all. I mean, like if you don't set clear boundaries when you first start out talking.
So what are some of those boundaries? Like what did you tell a man when you first meet him? Hey, look, I can't deal with this, and the third. So when do the boundaries come, and what are the boundaries?
So they need to be set. As soon as y'all meet, if y'all establish the fact that y'all may be in a relationship on down the road, set those boundaries up front. Like it's not an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. And if it is an issue, that's not your person. So for me, my boundaries are basically like, of course, the obvious things. No cheating. Like if you with me, you with me. First of all, STDs, nasty. We ain't doing that. Like second of all, like I'm worth something. Women have to know their worth, and I feel like they don't. So
You feel like they don't?
I feel like they don't. I feel like women who take cheating and all this other stuff that goes along with that and just keep going back to the same dude, back to the same dude, back to the same dude. Like,
But I gotta ask a question. Is it a reason for that dude doing what he doing? Could it be a reason? I'm just saying, could it be a reason that all of them ain't doing what you, like you said, how you were doing everything you were supposed to do. Could that be the reason sometimes?
It could be. In my case, no. Can't be. Like, but I'm gonna ask y'all.
If you was doing that, how old were you?
19.
Okay, if you were doing 19, 20, you were exceptional. To be that young, to have it together, that's tough to find. That's tough to find in an older one, much less a female of that age. But if you're saying from his perspective, he probably was doing what a normal 18, 19-year-old would. How old was he?
What was he
He was
older?
like 21.
Yeah,
He wasn't much older.
Yeah, he was doing what a normal 21-year-old dude would be doing.
Yeah. And so
So
let's
what
start
you
talking
doing
about
with a
it.
normal 19-year-old female would be doing?
Nah.
Well, but some, I don't know, females mature quicker than us, so some, it depends on it. It depends on the female that you're dealing with, I think, at that
Do you
age.
think she was doing that at 18, 19, the way it's described?
Oh,
Nah, yeah.
okay.
I know her. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know she was straight up back then. So, I mean,
Okay, she was straight up.
yeah.
So here's one misconception that I see in women. I think they overvalue cheating and being faithful. So they say, because I am faithful to my significant other, then I'm a good woman. Because I'm doing everything that he needs. Because I'm not cheating. And they put that on a high pedestal in it. And it probably should, because there's so many other things other than just being faithful that make somebody a good woman. And it also some other things that make a man a good man other than just being faithful. I'm not saying that being faithful is not important, but there's other attributes that lead to a man being a man, right?
So, what do you look for in your women, or?
I think so. When you look at a soulmate or somebody to move through life with, you're looking for anything that you can't do for yourself. You can't have a conversation with yourself. You can't create by yourself. You can't have communication with yourself. All the things that I need help in order to do. That's what that significant other is for. And so I can cook for myself, but I appreciate when somebody else cooks for me. I can clean for myself, but I appreciate when somebody else helps with the daily chores. So I think what you're looking for is an equal partner in life moving forward. Meaning, not valuing everything dollar for dollar. Meaning, if I pay $100, you pay $100. Right. If I cook a meal, you cook a meal. What I'm looking for is help.
And
Help in order to be. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm looking at help moving through this life. So whatever it is that I'm lacking, that I need that spouse to be that for me.
Those things are great, but I also value companionship. Like, I think one of the main reasons God made woman for companionship. He didn't make it just clean houses and do all that. That's great though.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
a sole purpose. So companionship is big for me. Those things are great too. Now we need that. So I like when somebody cook for me, do all that stuff too. But
And here's the thing I think confuses a lot of people. Your needs is going to change throughout life.
absolutely.
And so when you 20, what you need as a 20-year-old is not going to be the same that you need as a 30. It's some things as a 20-year-old that you think you cannot live without.
Yeah.
When you 40,
Yeah, we can live.
yeah.
But
But
just
when it's 40, you got to less dependent on them things. So my need for my spouse is going to be different.
Just like people go in love, they go out of it also. So that's real.
Yeah.
And so being observant and paying attention to what that individual person needs at the time, where at one point it may be finance, other point may be spirituality, other point it may be trust, maturity, whatever you need as you move through life. And sometimes it's be careful my health. At some point, when you look at that soulmate, if I lose everything today, who is that person going to be that's going to be able to hold it down?
Basically, somebody that got your back.
Right.
And when it's good times, when it's bad times, somebody that got your back, gonna stand with you, gonna understand. I mean, that's basically another friend, one of your best friends.
Right. You just gave us good advice when you said know your worth. All right, so men got to be the same way. So if when we started out, if somebody judged us based on what we were at 18, 19 years old,
Horrible.
there's somebody having a conversation about us just like you having a conversation about your ex-husband.
Yeah.
But for those that knew us now, those guys, because it was growth to get to a certain point. And so one, you gotta have endurance, you gotta have patience. It takes a long time. When you think about being with somebody for life, it's hard to be with yourself for life.
Like
But being
that.
around somebody else,
That's a long time.
dealing with finances is one of the toughest things when you start mixing finances and making sure both people are on the same sheet of music as what they value outside of the relationship. How you gonna raise your kids, the morals, the ethics that you're gonna teach them. Especially when you start talking about outside kids. Yeah.
And then you gotta think about too, because we talk about this, like with me and my wife. Like I tell her all the time, hey look, I'm learning on the fly. My pops died when I was 5, so I'm watching mama take care of me and my brother. And I got my grandma and my granddad there, of course. But a lot of this stuff that a lot of men go through, we learn on the fly. And we figure it out. I'm not saying women don't. Same thing with y'all. Don't got a mama in the house or whatever, you learn on the fly. So I think a lot of times two people can get together and they're expecting what they saw growing up, but in return, the other person didn't see the same thing you saw growing up. So if you grew up with your mom and pop and you figured it's supposed to be this way, and I didn't, we seeing it from 2 different lenses.
In a relationship, you gotta create your own. Like,
I agree.
That's true.
You gotta take what your mom and your dad or your auntie and uncle gave you. Take the good things, take the good value from it, and then grow with that. But still make it your own. Like, be your own parent, be your own wife, be your own husband, be your own friend. Like, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. Take that and then make the best of what you already know.
I think that's one of the hard part we're trying to learn from the previous generation, because the generation before us was really good. That was before social media. They were very proud. They kept everything in house. And so what you saw is all of the good things. So we know what right looks like. But what do you do when you find yourself on the wrong side of right? What happens in a relationship when you make that mistake? What happens when you don't budget correctly and the money comes up short? How do you deal with when you're not perfect? Those are the parts that's you learn on the fly.
Yeah.
Because that individual, you have a certain expectation of your man or your woman, and when they fail to meet that expectation badly. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about I expected you, when I met you had your hair done, and now I see you what you look like in the morning. That's not an expectation that just killed you. You can get over it. But I'm talking about those expectations that you have as a woman or as a man, and that individual fails you for that particular piece that you hold so dear. How do you overcome that? How do you bound that? Because you never saw mom and dad have those conversations.
Right.
At all.
Not about
Well, that's what grace
If you
is.
fortunate.
yeah.
I done witnessed some stuff. Not in my house.
Alright, so you're just talking about grace. What's grace in a relationship?
Just knowing that no one's perfect and just being patient. I mean, like
So those boundaries that you said, if that person crossed that boundary, that's that grace that allow you to bounce outside of that boundary.
Ain't no grace in the boundary.
No. First of all, it depends on what happened. Okay.
But if you got no boundaries, can he go outside of those boundaries and still get grace?
Within reason, yes. Just depends on the situation with me. Now everybody is different, but those boundaries, they're there.
So that'd be like your deal breakers, maybe like, it's always something in a relationship that's like deal breakers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then it's other stuff.
Yes. So boundaries and deal breakers.
Okay. I got it.
Do you set that standard at the beginning? This is the boundary, and this is the.
You ain't telling somebody that the boundary. You ain't telling that nigga the
I
boundary.
think that's what she doing.
No,
I mean, expectations, you
No, I'm talking about
expectations.
so you can't tell me.
She's saying that's what the boundary is, but she know that ain't the boundary.
It can't be
And
if
he
it's
know.
the boundary.
See, we talking real.
So this
He
is what I'm
know.
saying. This is what I mean by that. So if you saying, alright, my boundary is if you cheat on me one time, listen, that's it. But my deal breaker is if you cheat on me twice. You can't tell me that because well, not me, but I'm saying other dudes. You can't tell a guy that because he gonna take that one shot if he know he got it.
Why it's two though? Why?
I'm just.
Why is it anytime?
Well, no, I'm just saying when you talking about bound, if you letting the person know your boundaries and your deal breakers is what I'm saying. So if you tell me what the boundaries is, I know those boundaries ain't your deal breakers.
So
See
what
I'm
you saying, you as a man would test those boundaries if
I ain't saying I would test the boundary. I'm just saying.
Close, do not be real.
Amen. Amen.
No,
we talk about boundaries.
Would a man test the boundary.
Lowe's now wouldn't test the boundary.
Yeah, walk to the
You
line.
know what I'm saying? Now Lowe's back in Detroit, yeah, I'm testing all boundaries.
Okay,
You know what I'm
let
saying?
me
But-
set the stage and maybe y'all can follow me.
Like, this,
Watch this.
I know you tested boundaries
Alright,
back in the day.
Place boundaries, said cross boundaries. Here's what I'm telling her. You told him the boundaries. He don't believe you.
Oh.
He's got his own boundaries that he knows how far to go. Every man do. Every man, roundabout. Whatever you, those boundaries that you set, it's probably pretty narrow, pretty restricted. He knows that if he bounces back, you probably won't let it back in. He knows those
Probably
boundaries.
back,
He
you know
got,
the
he got his
boundaries.
own self. Exactly.
Vice versa.
That's my point.
You know, vice versa. I can do. Yeah, he
She
say
know
that.
it. She know exactly what's the deal.
He say that, but he ain't going. He ain't going.
No,
She know exactly what's
That's
the deal.
why people be shocked when somebody leave. They be like,
Shut
But why
how?
you-
I'm saying because you been testing the boundary.
I'm confused now.
Huh?
I'm saying, I got you.
So, all right. So here's what I'm saying. So, let's say you give me boundaries, right? I got these certain boundaries,
Right.
and like Pete said, I'm back and forth on these boundaries, right? I'm
You got
testing. I'm testing the boundaries because your
No,
boundaries
you
really
got,
don't.
you know it's not even that you testing.
No, here's
You
what
don't
I'm
believe
saying.
her.
Right. So here's what I'm saying.
I don't know that
I'm
sounds
testing.
better.
What?
Here's
You
what I'm
don't believe
saying.
her.
That's the truth.
I'm
You know-
testing
you
the
know exactly
boundaries
how far you can go.
because I got my own.
Better, though.
I got my own boundaries.
So that's the same thing he's saying. Just
Yeah, I got my own boundaries. So right, like you saying. So I'm testing the boundaries because I got my own. I don't believe that what you talking about. I know you gon' I know.
Right.
So when you
I'm-
say that, what do you mean though?
So if you say, depending on how the relationship going, you know pretty much what you can and can't do. You know somebody point to where they gonna say,
He's just telling you the truth.
I'm being dead.
He's just telling you the
You
truth.
know somebody point that when they gonna be like, I'm done, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? And
So
so
why push it to that point if you care about the other person?
that's just relationships. I mean, young
So
relationships.
relationship is to test the other person?
No, not listen. I'm talking past tense.
No, we're talking bad.
Okay, so what I'm saying
It was a
is, you get somebody who's not ready to be in a serious relationship. You get somebody not ready to be in a serious relationship.
You're not.
So how do you get in a
Go ahead.
get in a
So what's the
relationship?
purpose of being in a relationship if you're not?
Okay.
Because he care about you.
Right.
What does that mean? You just trying to keep me
So you
No.
in your corner?
no, it ain't that. But every person that get into a relationship ain't ready to get married tomorrow.
So marriage
I
is
mean,
different.
relationship
I'm
is
sorry.
marriage is different.
So if marriage and relationship is different, you're gonna have to go through some relationship stuff sometimes.
But if you saying you're not ready to be in a relationship, that's fine. A relationship and marriage, I feel like they're different. Like it depends on what point you are in your life. So
But how do you get ready to get married?
it's your own mental capacity. I feel like
But
that's
you gotta be
something
in a
that
relationship, right? You ain't gonna
Yes, but your intentions, like your intentions aren't there. Those you may say, hey, I'm ready to be in a relationship. Well, I'm not saying those now, but back in the day, like, okay, I want to be with this girl. You know, I want to talk to her.
He
I want
realizes
her
he's
in my
still growing
corner.
though. He's
That's
still got
fine. I mean, he's married, so he's able to go with his wife now.
No, not married. We're
Oh,
talking-
okay.
we're talking-
I'm just-
we're talking-
Oh, you mean
Don't make me sound like I was horrible back in the day, y'all.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm just using you as an example because
This guy. This guy.
You said we're gonna be real.
Yeah, we gonna be real.
I
So
don't know
y'all
that.
just running around testing boundaries.
I wouldn't tell you. I ain't telling
No,
no.
not gonna be. I'm
Look.
talking about me.
Alright, here's the deal. Here's the truth. Here's the real truth. If you're talking about a young guy getting in a relationship,
Right about how old? What age we talking about?
Yeah, you said
You
that.
said young guy?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you give me that. You give me that.
I'm gonna get 25.
Alright, you talking 25, a guy. Bro, let's just be real. Unless this guy
I
is
hope you're about to be real.
unless this guy is just ready to settle down, your boundaries gonna get jumped. They gonna get tested. Cause here's the thing about it. A 25-year-old female that ain't ready to settle down, his boundaries gonna get jumped. It's gonna go both ways now. I ain't saying it's just him, but it's gonna go both ways. It depends on the person that you
She
dealing
may
with.
be different if she was like at 18 years old.
Right.
So you may be.
You might be different.
I was in a
However, you gotta
relationship. I was
understand
in,
that,
it
you
was
know,
a relationship for me. Like
it-
I was serious about it. So.
I think that if you've been in an extended relationship, again, if you based us off 10 years ago, completely different men than we
10,
are.
whoa.
15,
Nah,
20.
you talking about just say 2000 back in college.
Okay.
Don't give me, don't drag me in there.
Even with that, you grew in your marriage.
Yeah, but don't drag me in.
He didn't grow like that.
Yeah.
You start passing.
Yeah, I was already mad at that point.
Yeah, it was-
I was mad at that point.
It was some
I'm
growth.
11 years in the game, man. You like?
And so some of those boundaries when you start talking about testing is just growing up. And bottom line is that's not set by age either. Because you got 40-year-olds that
It's
still
still,
think like boys. And you got 25-year-olds that think like me. And I think my advice to women your age would be, if you're looking for a man, find a man. Don't find a boy that's waiting to grow into a man. Because one of the biggest misconceptions, especially in marriage, when that priest asks you, do you take this man? That's as is. Bad credit, bad hygiene, bad habits, unsettled, immature. You saying that that's your standard, that you just accepted. And so you can't wait till after you put a ring on it and he's doing the same thing that he's been doing that made you say, I do. Yes, I take this man. I mean, it's as is.
I agree, you shouldn't change if you accept him as such, but you also should know before you go down that aisle that, okay, this guy does this. I know, you pretty much, a woman or a man, you pretty much know what your mate will do also. Like, you got it, yeah,
Right.
You don't know everything, you're not a psychic, but you pretty much know.
95%.
You know, you pretty much know.
Right.
But, I mean, I think a guy know. Test boundaries, that's great. But,
I mean, is it worth it?
every young guy knows.
It's definitely not worth
Because
it. But here's the
if I
difference
tell you
between-
up front what I like and dislike,
Right.
and I got the
It's
time.
not worth it.
What you mean?
See, ask the question again.
Is it
It's
worth
worth
it?
it.
No, so what I mean by that is you possibly can lose somebody good
Testing boundaries.
testing boundaries. Ain't no doubt about that. Now that's 110% correct. So that's when I say, is it worth it? It depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, so here's my response. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. If this guy's found, if he found what he's looking for in a woman, then it's not worth it. But a 25-year-old, I'm telling you, here's how he's gonna protect you. He's not gonna allow you to know what he's doing. That's his protection.
It shouldn't be there though. I feel like
But
if
I mean,
you're not going to do what you're supposed to do as a man, a provider, a husband, a partner, then don't ask the female to be that person for you.
he probably do all that, but he still I'm just keeping it above. Cause here's the thing, people say it ain't right, but with men and women 90% of the time it ain't nothing emotional with a guy when he out there running. I mean, like, it ain't emotional for
So
them.
what is it?
Mostly feels
Is
good.
it a pride?
It's just like you
Well,
it's just like you going to the store grabbing a bottle of Ciroc. You feel like having a good time. It ain't emotional to
You
you.
can't have a good time with the lady. You
No,
already
but what I'm saying is that you
You
ain't
get
going.
that.
Listen, you ain't going to buy the same bottle of Ciroc every time you going to look stuff. you might get the blue dot. You might get the watermelon. You know, I'm just
So put it the
saying.
other way.
No. So what I'm saying is, it ain't emotional for him. A lot now with women, a lot of times we like to think that when a woman, it's emotional. She been talking to him on the phone. She been doing something else. A dude at 20-something years old, he can walk in the club and walk out, and then he can never talk to her again a day in his life, and he good.
But if you got somebody at home that checks all your boxes, what's the point?
Because mentally he ain't there yet.
And you can't check every box at that age.
Yeah, he ain't
Yeah,
there yet.
you know, we use that knowledge that he may be a great bottle of pineapple Ciroc, but you can't be pineapple grape, pink, all at the same
You don't
time.
know that. You don't know that. Because you didn't give that lady a chance to show that she is great pineapple, watermelon, and everything
I
else.
got you. That's a good one. That's a good
So-
one.
I got you, but she ain't gonna be very well.
With the man, it's all about timing though.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of
Yeah.
man it is. When you
Yeah.
meet him, it may not be your season. And
Right.
every guy probably can say that he let a good, like a girl go that he thought would have been
Yeah.
in the long run. Like, so that's everybody.
Mhm.
When I went back, when I said what a man look for you, it's help. Sometimes you need help growing up. Sometimes I just need somebody to be patient to hold on
Yeah.
for a minute
Oh,
till I can get it together.
Yeah, you
And,
can't raise no grown folk.
Nah, I mean mature, for me becoming mature.
Nah.
Yeah. You done grew, bro, since I done met
I don't
you.
even know. I don't need to get in a relationship.
Nah, but you done grew since I done met you.
all of us.
Maturity. You way more mature than I met you with that sit back, that well, if I know a 24 pack of Budweiser.
Well, how's it been? You talking about?
Not acting the fool. Not acting the fool. I'm talking about just as a man. Period. We both have.
I don't need my partner to do that for me.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying over that amount of time, we both have done.
Well, that just come with living and getting older.
That's the same thing. What he's saying.
Yeah, I don't know. But y'all said some people who 40 years old still ain't got it right.
That's what I'm saying. I
That's
don't
why you got
You got picked
right.
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 I'm going there grabbing this rock blind.
Hey, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you it's tough. It's tough out there. That's why when you find a good one, when you find one that serves, one that you can work with, you better hold on for dear life. Don't let those unrealistic expectations creep up on you as if you see the people that's been married 10, 15, 20 years and think that this is ideal what you're looking for, but it ain't what you got right now. Because you ain't what you are right now. I'll tell a young guy in a minute, you got a good girl, but let's see what kind of woman she's gonna be. You don't know at the age of 25 what type of woman you want to be. You know what type of person you are right now, but just wait a while till things start changing. So what made you a good woman at 25 may not necessarily be the same thing at 30. You have a lot of people that have those issues to where once they get together, they into the club life, they like the fast life, they enjoy being around each other. Then one grows up, or one mind changes, and that they no longer want to look at that. Now they start to look at the future, and the other one still wants to stay where they met. They can't understand why their loved one mine is gone and looking 10 years down the road, because I thought we were cool with because they're not growing together. So that's all the things.
Could that be because of lack of communication though?
Just growing apart sometimes.
But if you're going apart with communication, let you know, okay, we're going in different directions. Before this thing hit an end.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key in anything. I think communication. Once you stop talking, that's the downward spiral of relationship.
My wife be on me all the time. I'm hard.
Well, see, that's the difference. Okay, in a relationship, you able to do that.
Yeah.
You able to dictate the communication. But once you married, you gotta talk. It's the communication gotta be there. If it's gonna survive, you gotta be able to talk and communicate through those hard times and even through the fun times.
And that's what I think I meant by what I was saying when me and Jarrell were talking about growing, maturing. Not that my wife had to raise me to be a man, like you were saying.
Right.
Not that, but for like even communication and like they all of them tell me all the time, low your delivery is horrible. You know, that I work on. My wife tells me that it's not awful. It's just straightforward. But like he was saying, that communication, because she tell me about it all the time. So and that's a big part, because you don't know, you ain't no mind reader. You don't know what the
majority of the issues in a marriage could be worked out with communication.
Yep, we're talking about it.
I don't care what it is. She can go out and blow the money. You can blow the money. You can mess up. You communicate what you did out. Majority can be worked out.
What's your thought process, boy?
You just go out there running out
Unless
with
it's
the
your boundaries that you talking
I
about.
feel like it's not just communication. It's communicating so your partner can understand. So I feel like women, like, they'll tell you over and over again, like, what is really going on, or they'll show up to their actions. Like you said, you're not a mind reader, but they'll tell you. But if you're not, like, in the same mindset as your partner, if you're not able to accept it the way that, to perceive it the way that they need you to, like, if it's not in the terms you understand, then you won't receive it. Like,
So let me ask you this. So if you communicate and I don't understand your communication, that's what you're saying, right?
mm-hmm.
I don't understand your communication. Where do you go from there? Like how do you work through that part? So you trying to communicate with me about how you
Whose
feel.
responsibility that is?
Yeah, how do you say, all right, you ain't getting it and we need to do X, Y, Z? Like how do you go beyond that?
I mean, maybe therapy, I'm not sure. Like, it just depends on you and your partner, I feel like. Because their relationship is completely different.
That's
right.
If you're trying to relay a message, it's your responsibility to relay the message to receive.
Yes.
You gotta make that person understand what you're trying to say.
But you have to be open to receiving that message as well. It
They
goes
are
both ways.
open. But part of communication is understanding different language, that you speak a different language than me.
Agreed.
Part of, I believe that men are very simple. We are not complex beings.
110%.
Females over the years, like you got, there's just complex, there's different layers to it. And so what you guys make sense in your head, you're saying it. What we gotta filter out is what does she really mean. That's the understanding part. She says, okay, so I don't feel appreciated is what you say. All right. So what does that mean to us?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like if you say that,
Now I know if I say it, what I
I
mean,
mean,
Right.
but you filter things differently. And so your communication gotta adjust and help me understand when you say, this is what I need. And I think that's the biggest part, is understanding the different love languages that you speak. Over time, it becomes,
you don't say nothing.
I hop out the wheel like a fence. 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 I'm on the moon like a Jackson. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I hop out the wheel like a fence. I strip the door like a latch. Boy, I'm a fiend out of